Joseph Rawsthorne, 165 109.
Thank you. You've just been researching different roles in theatre. Yeah. Okay. And just recently you took on role as director. Do you want to tell me a little bit about that and the process?
Really, in terms of directing, it was my first experience, so to me it was just fresh, so I had to do a lot of research on the web and in terms of like reading materials and learn about other practitioners and directors that, and what they do with their actors. So for example, I was looking at Stanislavski and what he does to encourage his actors, and I tried to imitate and replicate some of the styles and techniques that he used to allow my actors to approach their role as a method actor. So that's the one strongest point I'd say in terms of my research into directing that I had to follow all the way through. Was looking into method acting.
All right, okay. And what other things, what other methods did you use to prepare your actors?
Well, really, we spent a lot of time, a lot of sessions just researching different roles within films and different styles of speaking, different accents, different traits that you can find that are useful for to replicate a certain character. Facial expressions. We spent a lot of time looking up at how people react to certain things.
Because I noticed, the reason I asked that is because I know that through your rehearsal process you did a lot of sort of watching the actual film and seeing how they portrayed the characters on there as well, which is quite
I felt that it was important to me. The film is as well respected and critically acclaimed as it is because of the way that the actors present themselves. It's different, it's unique, almost. People don't quite know what to think of it, and I wanted to get that across to my actors, that I want people to leave the room thinking, well, what was I supposed to laugh or was supposed to be intimidated.
Do you think you were successful in achieving that?
Well, people would laugh at points, and you're doing. I knew I was doing what I wanted to do by hearing these laughs, because it was important for me to get that across. So yeah, I feel like I was successful in doing what I did.
Yeah. In terms of like a director, like obviously in this situation, you, within your director role, you took on a number of different roles as well, because we've not got that big backstage team that could come in and do the props and costume and lights and so on and so forth. So how did you, what things did you have to consider? What was your checklist, if you like, of things to do?
Props, costume design, lighting, things like that. To make the scenes what they are, really, to make them look as real and represent what I had in my head. Because as a director, without the help that a normal director would have had, it's your responsibility to get what's in your head, what your plans are for the performance, like in all aspects, to get that up on stage. So all the responsibility of lighting, costume design and props was left to me, and I feel like what I had in my head and what was on stage was pretty much what I had planned.
Good. Right. Do you think it was made easier because you were doing because you knew everything?
I like to have control over what I'm doing.
Do you think you're a good director based on what you've done?
Yeah, well, I think judging by the reaction of the audience and the actors enjoyed taking part in it, I think that for my first time in directing, that it was successful.
Yeah, I would agree. So moving on, so that was very much a sort of solo management in terms of everything that you had to do. So moving on to your contemporary unit, Unit 6, where you did your Into the Mind, you worked collaboratively with other members of the class. How did you decide, not in terms of, because I know you performed in that as well, but put the performance element aside, in terms of all the other things like the props, the costume, the lights, the publicity, all that sort of thing, what were the roles, first of all, of each of the group members, and how did you arrive at that decision?
Well, me and another group member had the responsibility of writing the script and creating all the dialogue, almost acting as the directors of the piece, whereas two of the other actors would take responsibility of their own monologues, and their strengths were in costume for themselves, and their own props, and the lighting. I'd say that's the major characteristics that we have within, roles and responsibilities within the performance. Really, it was pretty evenly split in terms of responsibility, but I feel like we could have had more help sometimes in like punctuation and stuff. A lot of the actors weren't turning up on time, so if someone was to like take more authority so that would be prevented, that would have been helpful.
So if you would have allocated maybe like an overall director, somebody that put some schedules or something like that together, might have made it a bit easier.
But because we were all friends and comfortable with each other, we didn't really think that any problems like that would happen. But we know now that could very well happen.
So at least you've learned for the experience, and doing it again, it might be something that you put into place. Well, that's good. In terms of strengths, like personal strengths and personal areas for development, what do you think they would be?
In terms of performing, or
just in general. I mean, through the research, if we stick to this unit in particular, the Unit 51, where it looks at different roles and responsibilities, looking at the alternative roles that you've took on, so the director, and then you sort of done a bit of props and a bit of writing and a bit of, what do you think your strengths, have you identified like an additional role that you could take on quite easily, and then maybe a role that you think, I would like to do that, but I might need a bit more?
Well, I enjoyed the script writing process. I feel like we had a solid script. Yeah. Good material, and it was all very well read. So I'd say that was a personal strength. But in terms of weakness, I feel that maybe the set design could have looked a little bit more relatable to the piece. It wasn't as intimidating as I had imagined. We had plans for the stage to look a bit more dark. We wanted a screen and stuff like that, but we couldn't get hold of any of that. And I think like if in the future I'd like to be able to arrange for those things to be in the performance. So really, set design is a weak point.
I think everybody was really limited, obviously, with facilities that are available here. Having been given a bigger opportunity, then who knows. But is there any roles that you think that you'd like to take on that you've not done already?
Technical design, take over the musical aspects, add more music. Both. Well, my Unit 6 piece stint, there was one song and it wasn't really that much of a task to play it. So really, I feel like we could incorporate more music that adds to the atmosphere. So stuff like that.
Okay, that's good. Thank you very much.